I don't know, lesson 3.4, using number sense. They want you to be able to navigate your way around an equation, understanding what it's saying. I'm telling you that this right here is very similar to the first grade type stuff that if I was to give you, you could still do in your head, okay? They really want you to be able to do a lot of this stuff in your head. And I think that for the most part, you can do it. Look here. Is that true? See, equal signs are telling you that something is true. Equal signs are not asking you if something is true. They are telling you that something is true. Is this equation true? Is that equal sign telling the truth? Yes. 5 plus 8 is 13. So if I was to say, is this true or false, you would say true, right? Tell me this is this one. True or false? That one is false, right? 70 minus 39 is not 41. 70 minus 39 is 31, so it's false. You won't see this very often, and that's why I don't really think this is a particularly awesome lesson. But it does help you understand that equal signs are telling you that things are true. Here's the deal. An equation has, what was it again? Do you remember? An equation has what, Jonathan? An equal sign, right? It has an equal sign. An equation that has a variable in it, are you listening? An equation, see right here, 5 plus 3 equals 8. That's an equation, okay? That is an equation. This, however, 5 plus x equals 8, this is called an open sentence. That's called an open sentence. If an equation has a variable, it's called an open sentence. We'll talk about that a little bit next year, and you'll talk about it a little bit the year after that. It's not super vital that you memorize that, but I don't want you to be thrown off if they ask you if something is an open sentence or not. An open sentence simply means that there's a variable in there and that we aren't sure right off the bat what the answer is. There is an answer, but we don't know what it is. It's an open sentence. Following me? Open sentence if there's a variable. Can you tell me this? Without doing anything, can you mentally answer that? You should be able to. You should be able to, in your head, figure out what's being asked. It is 17 minus x equals 8. So you go, okay, 17 minus what is 8? Right? Does that make sense? That's really what they're saying. 17 minus what? When you were in first grade, it would have been 17 minus big box equals 8. You've seen that. I know. I've got kids at this school. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you would see. It's no different than having a box there, except now it's an X. Does that make sense? You go, okay, 17 minus what is 8? 17 minus 9. How do you know if you got it right? You actually do it. What is 17 minus 9? 8. Oh, there it is. You got it. Does that make sense? You would say x equals 9. That's how you would answer that. That's how you answer an equation is variable equals number. You tell me what we're looking for. What are we looking for in this equation up there? We're looking for x. We want to know what x is. We're solving for x. Does that make sense? Okay. You guys try one. Try this. I really want you to do this one in your head. I want you to be able to wrap your brain around this so that you understand what's going on. And you can even check your work in your head. Do we all have an answer? Mama, what do you got? Listen, that a lot of times that's what my first thought was that too. But then you go, okay, if W was 5, is 5 divided by 4 20? No, so then 5's not it. Does that make sense? In your head, you can do the, okay, well then what number divided by 4 equals 20? Jonathan? 80. Is 80 divided by 4 20? Yes. Oh, there it is. Does that make sense? I know that there's methods to do this, right? You know, you can go, okay, well then you would just go, okay, 20 times 4 is 80, right? I mean, I know. I don't want to bog us down with all those little rules. I think that we're all good enough to just know how to do that, right? There's a bunch of rules. You should be able to play with this in your brain and figure out the answer. Does that make sense? My first thought was 5 too, because you see a 4 and a 5 and 20. You think 5 times 4 is 20, and you just, but 5 divided by 4 isn't 20. Make sense? Okay. What about this one? Try that one. You should be able to wrap your brain around this. Let's just read it. It says 4.7 plus C is 5.9. In other words, 4.7 plus what number is 5.9? I'm at 4.7. I need to get to 5.9. What am I going to add to that to get there, Gina? 1.2. Because 4.7 plus 1.2 is 5.9. You're there. Does that make sense? How would you answer this question then? C equals 1.2. Does that make sense? C equals 1.2. Following me with that? Okay. What about something like this? Bigger number. You know, things are a little bit more messy here. It might be a little bit tougher to wrap your brain around, maybe. You go, okay, x minus 43 equals 19. What number, take away 43 is 19? There is a very simple way of doing this, and that would be to add these two numbers together. But even without that, just in your brain, let's just estimate here. Let's estimate. 43 is pretty close to 40, and 19 is pretty close to 20. Well, what number minus 40 is 20? 60. So you know that our answer here, x, is going to be somewhere near 60. Agreed? Do you agree with that? Since we know it's going to be somewhere near 60, let's try it. Let's go, what is 60 minus 43? Is that 19? No, it's 17. We're close. We're 2 off. Right? We're 2 off. Let's make it be 62. What is 62 minus 43? 19. There we have it. We just found it. We estimated. We took a guess. We kind of tried our estimation. It was a little off, and then we adjusted. We tried it again, and we got it. Does that make sense? This is not how you're going to do equations for me in the end at all. All this does is I want you to have your brain wrapped around what an equation's asking you for. And yes, you should be able to estimate an equation, right? Just kind of come close, see if you're in the neighborhood. I mean, I want you to be able to, an equation is no big deal. You understand how they work. And if that's true, then you're going to do fine in algebra when it comes to equations. Okay? Make sense? All right. There's really not much else to do here. You want to do a few practice problems? Yeah, I'll give you a couple practice problems. Let's do number 13 on page 127. Page 127. Do number 13 and do number, I don't know, 23. That's a tough one. 23. You can do it. Number 13 says 3 plus 4 plus 2 equals 3 plus 6. And they ask, tell whether each equation is true or false. Is that true or false? True, because 3 plus 4 is 7, plus this 9 equals 9. Does 9 equal 9? Yeah. That makes it true. Okay? Number 13 is true. Number 23, it says P times 4. Why don't I like how they wrote that question? What should they have said? They should have said 4P. Not P4. They should have said 4P, right? P times 4 equals 792. I would estimate here. 4 I would leave alone. 792 I would make 800. What number times 4 is 800? 200. 200 times 4 is 800. Now, are we trying to find 800? No, we're trying to find 792. What did you do? What could you do? What did you do, Caleb?
What did I do? I kind of keep subtracting
Okay.
by 4, so I got 792.
Right. So what did you do? Instead of 200 times 4, what'd you get?
I got 192.
Yeah. So that was very smart. He subtracted 4 each time, right? Because subtracting 4 would be 1 less of this. So 798 would be 199. 796 would be 199 times 4. 792 would be 198 times 4. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? The other way, what is the more accurate way of doing this without estimating? You go, okay, what number times 4 is 792? You could also go, well, 792 divided by 4 would give you that answer as well. We'll talk more about that tomorrow and the next day. Okay, we'll get to that. But for now, I just want you to see that what number times 4 is 792, estimating it's somewhere near the number 200. 200 times 4 is 800, which is really close to 792. Yeah?
For example, like number 24, what if 588 equals 3n?
Well, what's 588 equals 3n mean? It means 588 equals 3 times what number? Right? We're trying to find out what the variable is. That's the whole thing. We're trying to figure out what the variable is.
So it'd be like 3 times something.
It would be 3 times something equals 588. What's this? It's the same thing. Make sense? Make sense? Okay. Your homework. Wow.